it's Kristin, and it is time for another 4 looks, 1 palette. Although this is going to be 4 looks, 1 eye palette, 1 blush palette, and 4 little lipstick things. So, what we're doing, if you couldn't tell by the title, is the Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette. So, you have seen all of these shades before, but what we're going to do is I'm going to combine with this with the blush palette, which looks like that. And then when I ordered one of these things, I got this little card thing that came with 4 of her lipsticks. They are in, one's a cream, one's a mega matte, one's a sheer, and another one is a cream. So 2 creams and then the others. So let's go ahead and get started. Right. For my first look, I mixed a cool with warm, which I don't normally do, but I'm trying to go out of my zone just a little bit. I mean, it's not that far out of my zone. I used Anaheim, which is kind of a cooler shade there in the crease to start things out with. And then I used Punk to really deepen things up. And then on my lid, I used the shade right here in Pop. I kept underneath my lash line clean. I don't have anything underneath there. And then I used Danger as my liner. Oh, this is really, really pretty, you guys. All right, so here's the look. I'm really hoping you guys can see that, how pretty that, I'm looking in the viewfinder like it's gonna tell me how pretty that blue is. So on my cheeks then, I use a combination of Easy and Lo-Fi, believe it or not. These 2 shades right here. Just was kind of, I just want to play around with using some of the different shades together. And then I took a little bit of Angel as my highlight right there. And the only other thing, I did tight line line my upper waterline with the Sleek in Noir. And then for my lips today, I used Magenta lip liner from MAC. And then I used Firebird, which, I mean, in here, it looks pretty, but on your lips, I think it's really pretty. Look in my mirror. I just think it's so pretty. So, already I'm like, that's one I think I may have to purchase. I have to look at my collection to see if I have a dupe or not, but at any rate, Firebird is the one that I'm wearing today. And then just a little tip, when you're using something like this, it's not going to probably work for me all day long, but I'm just going to church today. So I took a little lip brush and I loaded up both sides of the brush and then stuck it back in here, and hopefully I will have some later to touch up with. All right, for my second look, I used the shade, it's a little bit more dramatic than I normally do for a second look. I used the shade in 1987 all over the inner 2/3 of my lid. I placed down with a 217 and then wiped it off and really blended. I used Blackout in that outer third. I used a little bit of, what is this called? Serious in the crease, just a little bit on a fluffy brush. And then I really wanted more of a black brown sort of shade with this. So what I did, there wasn't one in here. So what I did was I used Punk then over the top of where I had laid that black. Not all over, but just kind of, you'll see. And then on the inner corner, I used the shade in Blonde. I also used that as my brow bone highlight. I did take a little bit of this shade right here, Serious, I think it was again, beneath my lower lash line. And I think that's everything. So let me zoom you in. So here's the look. For blush today, I used the shade in Hush right here, and that is it. Has definitely enough of a sheen to it that it has enough color that it's not a highlight for me, but it has enough sheen that I don't need a highlight. I'm pretty glowy right there. And then, for liner, all I did was take the Sleek Ooh La La liner in Noir, and I use it on my upper lash line. You saw when I zoomed in more so on the outer 2/3, and then I did tight line line my upper waterline. For lips today, I chose the shade in Ex-Girlfriend, which looks like that. And I just have that over the Liz Wautier lip liner in Nude. All right, for my third look, it's kind of a amped up natural look, like neutral colors. Amped up neutral look, not natural. I'm struggling a little bit trying to find different looks with this palette, I have to say. So anyway, I used Steady, which is right here, all over the lid. I took Zone in the crease on a fluffy brush. Then on the outer corner, I mixed Punk and Zone together. I went back and forth a bunch of times with my brush to really kind of try to get a more mid-tone shade. And then I took Zone beneath my lower lash line on a smaller brush, but it's a little bit of a thicker brush, and I'll show you in a second so you know what I'm talking about. And I put that beneath my lower lash line, and then I took Punk and put that on the outer corner and really kind of blended it then in towards the inner corner. So the brush that I'm talking about is, oh, and I'm sorry, hold on. I also, hold on, like you're going anywhere. I also combined Skimp and Blonde together for my brow bone highlight. So this is the brush, it's the base shadow brush, I think, or just the shadow brush, shading brush from Real Techniques. And I like this one. I want a little more kind of, as they say, blown out look on my lower lash line. So I will use this and kind of, it just makes it get down not so far, but far enough. Know what I'm saying? Let me zoom you in. All right, so here's the look. For liner today, I'm using the Avon Glimmer Stick in Brown Chocolate. I just did my upper lash line, smudged that out, and then my upper waterline. For blush today, I use the one in Lo-Fi. When I'm doing kind of this lip, which I'll tell you what it is in a second, and this sort of an eye, I like more of a bronzy, dark peach sort of blush, and this is perfect. I didn't think I would like it as much as I really like how it looks. So that's the blush that I chose today. And then the shade of lipstick that I used today is the one in Rock Steady. So it looks like this, and it's interesting. It looks a little darker in here than it showed up on my lips. I like how it looks. It's a little more cherry. So first I outlined my lips with MAC's lip liner in Cherry, just to kind of, I didn't fill it in. I just wanted to give it more of a defined line, and then used this over the top of it. So that's the third look. All right, for my fourth look, very light, very simple. We'll talk about that in a minute. I use this Harajuku, I think is how you say it. Harajuku. Juku? I don't know. I used that all over the outer 2/3 of the lid. I used Skimp on the inner third of the lid. And then I just took this Anaheim shade right here into the crease. It kind of looks a little bit like Neapolitan, I gotta tell you. And then I used the shade in Baby right here beneath my lower lash line, and I just kind of blended that out a little bit also with that Anaheim shade. And I also used Blackout just as a liner on my upper lash line. So let me zoom you in. So look, again, nothing super spectacular. The only other thing that's on my eyes is on my upper waterline, I have the Sleek Ooh La La liner in Noir. For blush today, I used the shade in Cherry, which is very pretty. And then I used Hush just a little bit over the top of that. And then lastly, there was one lipstick left, but they're all really bright, aside from the one, they're all really bright lipsticks. And I just wasn't feeling it today. So I will show you the other shade that is in here is 714. At the end, I'll give you a quick swatch of all four of them. What I did use is, I've not even hauled this yet, I don't think. It depends on when you actually see this. But this is by Tarte. It's in the new shade Cabana Boy. It's the Rainforest of the Sea Drench. Feels really good on the lips, I have to say. So that is the shade right there. So let me get you some swatches of the palette. So here are the first four. That's in Blonde, Bathwater, Skimp, and Steady. And that one is Punk. So it's hard to see. Blonde, Bathwater, Skimp, Steady, and Punk. BB, Anaheim, Stark, and Zone. And that is Serious. So Baby, Anaheim, Stark, Zone, and Serious. Pop, Harajuku, however you say that, Danger, and 1987. And then Blackout. So Pop, Harajuku, Danger, 1987, and then Blackout. Okay, so of the 15 shades, there are 5 that are matte. Punk, Anaheim, Stark, Zone, and then Blackout, and the rest have some sheen or shimmer to them. So here's my thing with this palette. There's not a lot of variation in the shades. And I think you can even tell when you look at it. There's so much similar here. And even what I would call mid-tone shades, which is like Zone and Anaheim, these two kind of shades here, they are pretty light. The only dark shades that you can really add anything and do some, kind of do some dimension with is Punk and Blackout. You can with Danger, but it's got some shimmer to it. I prefer those generally to be more of a matte. I really enjoyed the shade in Punk. It it definitely has a little something to it. I also enjoyed the shade In Danger. You know, one of the, I kind of wish that I hadn't done with the first look. I was trying to use most of the shades in here, which is generally what I try to do. And if I hadn't used Danger as an upper, you know, as a liner in, I think it was the first look, I probably would have attempted to create a really blue kind of smoky eye with this. It would have been really pretty with Punk, but I had already used Punk a couple of times. I had already used Danger. So, yeah, the lasting power on these is very nice. They don't crease on me, nothing like that, but I just don't think this palette is unique. I didn't enjoy this 4 Looks 1 palette. I felt like it was really difficult for me to come up with 4 different looks that weren't, I didn't love this. It's really hard for me to say, but I just didn't love this one. So let's go ahead and do some swatches of the blush palette. I enjoyed the blush palette. Again, I feel like there's not a ton of variation here, even though it looks like there is. I wish there was at least one true matte in here. These are all satin to shimmer finishes, but here's Cherry, Easy, and Angel. Lo-Fi, Hush, and OC. So Cherry, Easy, and Angel. And I felt like Easy didn't swatch well, didn't apply well. It was a little bit tricky to work with. And then Lo-Fi, it's right here. Let me just, Lo-Fi, Hush, and OC. So I liked this. I just don't think either one of these are a must-have. So here are the lip shades. This is Firebird, Ex-Girlfriend, Rocksteady, and then 714. That Girlfriend was a big disappointment. It's called, I'm just trying to see if it says, or Ex-Girlfriend. It's called the Sheer. So disappointment to me, but probably what it's intended to be. You can see it's definitely a sheer. Over a lip liner, it was fine. Nothing special. I obviously can't speak to 714 because I didn't wear that. That one's called the Mega Matte, so I'm probably glad. It probably would have dried my lips out. But both Rocksteady and Firebird I really like, and I probably will get the full size of those. So that's this one right here and then Firebird. And I loved how both of them wore. They wore really well. Rocksteady is a cream and Firebird is a cream. So that doesn't surprise me because I generally seem to like, you know, a cream finish. So but the wear time is, I could not believe. And yesterday when I wore Rocksteady, I used Cherry Lip Liner, but I did not put it all over my lips because that will add obviously to longevity, and I really wanted to see how long they lasted. And I was really impressed with how long it lasted with just putting it on the outside. So the inside of my lips was just the lipstick, and it lasted a really long time. All right, on the rest of my face through the video, I have the same combination. I've been wearing the MAC Mineralized and the Guerlain Nude de Perfection. Same concealers I've been using, same bronzer, the MAC bronzer that I've been using up. And then the only thing I try to always mention this. If I forget it ever in a 4 Looks, it's always listed below. I use the Lancome Hypnose Drama for my mascara every day. And I think that is everything. So to sum it up, I like the blush palette. I don't think it's a must-have. I like the eyeshadow palette. Again, I just don't think it's a must-have. It's just not super unique. The packaging is cute. You know, there are great shades in it, but it just isn't, it wasn't a winner for me. And it definitely is kind of a product I regret purchasing. So, but a couple of those lipsticks I think I'm actually going to buy. All right, so thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and in everything that you do, be beautiful. Bye.